Geek Pants, what you gonna do
when they come for you?
Yeah. Geek Pants, Bad Boys.
I wasn't sure if there was going to be a third little Spitfire moment.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. Bad Boys, 1995.
Seminal classic.
We were 13 years old.
Yeah.
And loving every minute of it.
I gotta say, though, rewatching it, I was pretty much loving every minute of it.
I love the first one. I still love it.
So good. It was so good.
Yeah.
In fact, I hadn't watched it in so long that when I was rewatching it, I was literally like, oh, by the way, this was my idea, just so we're clear.
All his.
We were watching Bad Boys 3 in the theater, and I said, we should do Bad Boys. We should do that for the Geek Pants Camcast.
We should. If it was a shitty movie, probably would be like, nah. But it was a good movie.
Yeah. So, yeah, as I was saying, I remember when we first watched this, because we're Will Smith fans.
We were.
And I was a Martin Lawrence guy, too, because I watched Martin.
We grew up on Fresh Prince.
I actually watched Martin. I had Fox at the time, so I watched Martin.
So I was a little more...
Did you say Marty?
Martin.
You said
Marty?
Marty Lawrence.
Marty Lawrence. My buddy Marty.
The reason why he says Marty is because...
I have a friend, Martin, that I call Marty.
You have We have a
friend, Martin, that
I call
Marty.
You call him Marty.
Marty.
Anyway.
Yes.
So coming off Fresh Prince, was this his first?
We had a couple little drama roles, and this was his first as a main star, yeah.
Yeah, because there was the one...
Because the year after this, he did Independence Day.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, it was a 1-2 punch. This was, I think, the beginning of the Summer Will.
It was the beginning of the Summer Will, because Independence Day, and then 97 was Men in Black, and then it went pretty much every year for years.
Fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it. So... One of the things, like, when you watch it now, when you're as scholarly as we are for watching movies.
Naturally, yes.
My first thought was, I was like, man, they must have threw a lot of money at this movie. Now, don't say otherwise, but at the time, I was like, because this is a really high production value.
Yeah.
The set pieces, the action set pieces were huge, you know. One thing that I thought to myself as I was watching this, and I don't think I've ever thought of it before, was that while it's billed as like a black action movie, if you took Will and Martin out and subbed in any two white guys, nothing changes.
Oh, nothing changes.
Nothing changes at all.
No.
Like, even the soundtrack could stay the same.
Yeah.
Right? But, man, in the first 5 minutes, when they're driving in the fucking car... And we were talking about it at Bad Boys 3, and yeah, you're right. Like, his dad wasn't a cop, but he was a trust fund baby.
Trust fund baby, yeah, because he had money right from the first movie on.
He was riding. It was a $50,000 car.
Yeah, Marlon's eating French fries.
Marcus is eating a giant burger
and fries,
in this thing.
Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry.
Lowry. Yeah. Now I gotta be honest with you. It's a funny scene.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to introduce the chemistry between the two people.
Yeah.
But in real life, if I had like this brand spanking new car and I picked you up in it and you had like a fucking burger combo, you wouldn't get in my car. Like, I wouldn't be like, yeah, man, it's cool, come on in. Yeah. Or even if I gave ground rules, like, don't fucking spill in here.
Yep.
But I'm one of those guys, I don't really like eating in my car anyway. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like, even if it's not moving, I'm not a big fan of just sitting there in the car eating. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't know why at all.
Well, there's really no room, right? You're kind of just... Well, it's only up from here.
There's that aspect. It just feels weird. Like, it just doesn't feel like I should be eating in this area. I don't know what it is, but it's... But anyway, so, like, my immediate thought would be, like, you're not getting the... Even if you were like, nah, man, is cool. Like, I won't... The burger was massive.
It's a huge burger. He's eating the biggest burger he can find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one-handing it, too. I saw that. I was like, get the fuck out of the car. But that was, like... So, but it was a great way to give the chemistry right off the hop, especially when they get carjacked.
Yeah.
They get carjacked, and then they just do the whole thing, and then fucking arrest the guys and all that shit. Yeah. That was awesome. You did. Okay, I was hoping, because I forgot that he was in this movie.
Who?
Checky
Cario?
Checky Cario. I forgot, and the second I saw him, I was like, oh yeah!
Yeah.
He
was in a lot of stuff in those days.
And always a bad guy.
Always a bad guy.
But then again...
Except there was one romantic comedy movie with Matthew Broderick and Meg Ryan where he was not a bad guy. He was actually the love interest of Meg Ryan, and she cheated on him.
Really? I can't picture him as being...
Checky.
I can't picture him as being anything other than a piece of shit.
I just call him Chucky, because I don't know how to pronounce that.
I just assume it's Checky.
Checky.
And I'm like trying to hit the T, right? But it's just Checky.
Checky.
Checky. Like, it feels like I'm saying a T,
Checky,
but I know I'm not. But I don't...
He always plays a good bad guy.
Anything other than a bad guy.
No.
Like just a horrible person.
He's like...
But you know what I like, too, is that, like, his bad guy in Bad Boys is different than his bad guy in Kiss of Death.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's playing the same type of bad guy.
Yeah.
What the hell's that guy's name in the second one? The Russian guy.
Oh, Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
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 Again, another guy that always plays good bad guys.
He doesn't even have an accent either.
No, but he always plays a Russian.
Yeah. But like he always plays. He either plays like a bad guy or like a weird guy, but he never plays like a normal guy. Yeah. But it's one or two. Like it's one or the other. Like he's either a Russian bad guy or he's an off-kilter guy. But that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, even just the fucking initial hit that these guys did, like when they steal, like, and that's the best part about it is like they go through this whole process of stealing, and even when I rewatched this, like I just watched this a couple nights ago, I didn't realize at the time that they were stealing from the fucking lockup of the Miami Police Department.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, what?
Badass.
That's not badass. That is a ballsy to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Or a whole nother level. That's some old school Mad TV for some of you fuckers out there. But like, I just was like, what? Oh yeah, because that's the first scene. The first scene is them knocking off the place. And then the next scene is them introduced to the characters because they're on their way to work.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they get to work, and you meet Captain Howard.
Captain Howard.
Joe Pantoliano. I love this dude. I've always loved this dude. And
he's so great.
It's so great to see him in the trailer.
Great. Every time we talk about actors that when we see in other movies, or any movie, when we see them, we perk up.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys.
Oh, 100%.
Because, like, I remember even when the first time I watched Memento, and you had already watched Memento.
Yep.
And you were like, you gotta watch Memento. You gotta see this director, Christopher Nolan. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, oh, I'll watch this movie. Whatever.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, like...
Like that guy's gonna be anything.
What's he gonna do after this?
Loser.
Right? And then I watched Memento, and I remember, like, I was like, okay, alright, like, Carrie-Anne Moss, okay, alright. Guy Pearce, whatever. You know.
He did an alright job.
He's an alright actor.
He's an alright actor.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing Joe, and I was like, oh,
hey! You got a little Matrix reunion going on here.
Look at you in this movie. This is great. Trinity, you, can't remember your name. Was it Cypher?
Cypher.
I was just playing down. I remember his name.
It's Cypher.
Anyway, so you see him. I think this was the first time that I'd seen... Oh, wait. Matrix was 97?
99.
Oh, yeah, 99. Yeah, so this is one of the first times that I'd seen him in a movie. So because of this movie, after that, I was like, oh, right.
I think this is the earliest movie I remember.
If it's earlier...
I'm sure there's other movies, but they're not coming to mind.
No, not at all.
Because it's this and then Daredevil. He's Ben Urich.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was Ben Urich.
Yeah.
Not bad casting for Ben Urich.
He was a good Ben Urich in that movie.
Yeah.
No problem with Ben Urich.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, it's an unfortunate movie.
He's the one that lights the DD.
Yeah, that's right, because he had that stupid golf cap backwards.
Yeah.
That's right. And Bendis's run, his Urich actually looks kind of like Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah, very similar.
So anyway, so we get an introduction to all the major players. There's the big crime. You find out that they they stole the big, huge money bust.
Yeah.
That the two cops, Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett, just did.
Mm-hmm.
They just did this bust. So then, of course, the first thought is, well, it's got to be a cop. A cop has to have done this. Because how the fuck would they know, right? So the plot's, like, it's one of those, like, okay, alright, you know. And for me personally watching this movie, there was a lot of me going like this. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Things you don't remember anymore, right? And you see it again, you're just like, yes.
However, I remember having no issues with the plot at all until this viewing, where what's her name? Taylor is Julie. Oh yeah, so Julie. So
yeah, she goes with Will's friend Max.
Well, yeah, so not that part there. Like, her inclusion of the plot is very much like by the numbers. It's like, oh, so you're here.
You're with her.
You're with her. Bad guys kill her. They don't know you're there. You witness it. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's later in the movie, when she's been, like, that whole period where Marcus is pretending to be Mike Lowry, and Mike is hanging out at Marcus's house.
Yeah.
Staying there.
With his wife, Teresa.
That middle sequence actually kind of dragged for me. Yeah. I remember when I got to that point, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I was like, this is actually kind of stupid. Like, this is dumb. Because, like at the point where she looks around Mike's, apartment and sees pictures of
Mike.
The real Mike.
Marcus says it's his partner. Every time he saves his life, he
takes
a picture of him.
And I remember just thinking, like, that's a fucking stupid story. And, like, yeah, later in the movie, they imply that she was starting to put it together.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't stupid. But even, like, when she goes, well, I just thought you were gay. It was just like, okay, but you know that Mike was hooking up with Julie, for one. Also, Julie's description of Mike does not add up to Marcus's appearance at all.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of things that I always forgot about. So, like, the two Mexican dudes, the other guys, the other cops.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I forgot. I always remember it as being, like, this stereotypical antagonistic relationship that apparently every cop has in every cop movie.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget the part where they're busting each other's balls, and then it's just like, no, hold on, we're not playing around here. This is really serious. We need your help. And they're just like, yeah, okay,
we're in.
No, nothing. No, like, I don't know, man. It's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Name a place, name a time, where and when, doesn't matter. And I like that all the way through all three of the movies. Because even in the third one, there's a bit of that too.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, yeah, okay, cool, where and when.
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw it in the third one, because we watched the third one in the theaters recently, and this prompted the Geek Pants, so I had to go back. This guy watched them before he watched the third, so he's good. I had to watch 1 and 2. So when I watched the first one, and I was like, oh, they did it in the first one, then I'm like, they must have done it in the second one. Spoiler, they do. But anyway, so it, aside from that one part, like, the whole, I call it the hotel sequence, where they're pretending to be other people. And at first I was like, it's kind of a different take on your buddy cop storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that's the weakest part of the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, literally, like, recently just being like, how long is this sequence? Because it actually literally felt like the movie was doing this, and then it just kind of went.
Really? Yeah, I didn't get that.
And don't get me wrong, the chemistry between Marcus and Julie,
yeah.
or Marcus pretending to be like Julie, was still good.
Yeah.
It was still really good. And then, of course, the chemistry between Mike pretending to be Marcus, also really good. And Téa Leoni is one of those underrated actresses. She never really got her due.
No. This is the first movie I remember seeing her in.
Yeah.
Because after this and all the way on, she was blonde, and I found out she was natural blonde. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
She looks so great with dark hair.
Yeah. Because, but I think she was primarily TV.
She had little drama roles. She did a lot of movies, but always like in a secondary role. Like, The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. Really good at that.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3 with William H. Macy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So she had movies along the way.
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Fun with Dick and Jane, which is still not on Blu-ray.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
DVD only.
That was a better movie than I thought it was. Like, I thought it was going to be. Like, I remember seeing the trailers, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, anyway. I still think she could have done more. Mm-hmm. I think she did some TV show, too, though.
She did. Yeah, she did, like, one of those, West Wing type of shows.
Oh.
Might have even been the West Wing.
Oh,
she was on one of those, like, hour-long dramas.
I don't know. For some reason, I thought she was on a half-hour sitcom. But then I remember that it was actually Caroline in the City that I'm thinking of.
Oh, yes,
which is not
Leah Thompson.
Téa Leoni. It's Leah Thompson. Who I had a massive crush on, too, by the way.
Me too. Me too. One of the first. Right up there with Phoebe Cates.
Yeah. I had a massive crush on her. Not a massive one. Phoebe Cates was massive.
Phoebe Cates was massive. Ali Sheedy, massive.
No, not so much.
From Breakfast Club?
No, not so much for me, but Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, yes, Elizabeth Shue.
Adventures in Babysitting?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Such a beautiful lady.
God damn it. Like, seriously. Could you babysit me? You got to meet Thor! That's one of my favorite parts. Where she meets, the kid meets him. And it's cool because as a comic book kid, you always see like Spider-Man or Batman or Superman or Captain America. No, mostly those three.
Yeah.
So to see Thor get his due that early, I was like, oh, I'm not a Thor fan by any means, like in that regard. Like I was, I listed off the three that I would have been like, fucking right. But just the fact she had the helmet, which I don't know how she had the helmet. She had the helmet. She had the hammer. And she meets the fucking dude. It's the hammer on the ground in front of him. I was like, that's the coolest fucking thing ever. But anyway. But like I was saying, so aside from that one little part, and I actually was trying to think, like, because every other time I watched this movie, I remember just being like, yes. And I was trying to remember, too, because I remember for some reason, there was something about the second one that, while ultimately I really liked, but I wasn't as big a fan. I remember not liking it as much as the first. I remember now exactly what specifically. There's two things in the second one, or three actually, that I didn't like, that I felt didn't need to be there. But we'll go over that on the next Camcast. But yeah, for some reason, it was the inherent stupidity of them playing each other. And then her almost pretending like she didn't know that they weren't. The other part, too, was that there was a couple of things. So first, they make a point of saying, like, oh, I think the bad guy's got my license plate. But the family doesn't leave the house. Mm-hmm. He just switches roles. Now he's no longer Marcus Burnett. He's Michael Lowry. Yeah. Right? So that part I remember being like, that's fucking stupid. Sure, they had the cops staking out the joint, but he was dead certain they got the license plate. But they almost don't even mention it again until towards the end of the movie when the shit gets real, right? Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of dumb. The fact that she's a very important witness, and I understand she doesn't want to be on any sort of like cop thing, but like aside from the door guy, what security is in this building?
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
Yeah.
It's just the door guy that Marcus was able to strong arm into letting him do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So again, like, it was just more stupidity, right? And I know it's a product of its time.
Yes.
Okay, I know that.
It is.
But 37-year-old Chris, even knowing that, is still just like, it bugs me. It bugs me because it's stupid. And it's almost gleefully stupid. It's almost just like they want you to think it's a smart action movie by going like, oh yeah, they definitely got my license plate. But then you don't fucking mention it, right? Yeah. You're like, wouldn't that be priority one? Even just in case. If you thought maybe they got your license plate, wouldn't you say, hey honey, here's the thing.
By the way,
maybe you should go on vacation. Here's why. The other part was the whole, like, his wife thinking that he was cheating on him type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she knows you're a cop. She knows you're a detective. I mean, the gripe about the hours, you know, you're like, okay, all right.
But you made the story that he was out of town and everything.
Why wouldn't you just say, hey, honey, here's the deal.
I'm on a stakeout, can't tell you anything
Here's
else.
the deal. We got a witness. She thinks I'm Mike Lowry. Because I kind of told her I was. So, you know everything. Instead of that whole sort of like cliched kind of, oh, you're cheating on me thing. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's just...
Where the fuck's my husband? Which one?
Yeah. The
short one.
Short one or the tall one?
I thought so.
It's like the short one. It's like, I thought so. And I was like, yeah. Like, I'll give them props because, like, yeah, physically, Marcus is not on the level of Mike Lowry. Mm-hmm. But they never, ever treat each other as anything less. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, like, Michael, I'll fucking kick your ass.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Lawrence is like, I'll fucking kick your ass, right? They never treat each other as anything less than equal partners, even if visually, like, you know that on some level, Mike's got him beat, right? So at least there's that, but there's just that whole permeating level of stupidity within that chunk of the movie that actually took me out of it. And that's why it kind of stopped for me, because now instead of me going like, oh, what's going to happen next? Or, oh yeah, this part's coming up. Oh, yeah. Very much the second that the wife, like, left. Because he's like, shit, you know, I know my shirt's off or whatever. And that's the other part, too. Like, you're just lounging around, your shirt's, like, wide open. Like, what? Never mind the fact that Téa Leoni, they never explicitly say that she's a hooker. In fact, she's not. She's just a friend of a hooker.
Yeah.
She's dressed like a hooker in the entire movie. Like, she's lounging around in Mike's house, like...
They don't actually say what she did, did
they? Photographer. She was a photographer.
Photographer?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a photographer.
Separate.
There's, like, some lame reference where she's like, I'm just an out-of-work photographer. I don't want you getting annoyed with me staying on your couch.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. And it was one of those lines where I almost was like, oh, fuck. But I was like, whatever. I'll let him have it.
Product of its time.
It's not even that. It's just movies in general. Because
movies do that.
It's the same thing where, like, you know, I'm on the phone and I'm like, yeah, hey, you know, Karen, like, my sister. Just so that people in the audience know that I'm talking to my sister.
How's Mom
Karen.
doing? I know she's been doing pretty bad since Dad died.
Yeah. Karen, my sister.
Karen, my sister.
I know, it seems so weird that I would say my sister so many times in a phone call with my sister, Karen. But, whatever.
It happened.
You know, so that was one where I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's a movie thing, so that's fine. Just like 555. But that part there with it was just me going like, oh, like, if it was, you know what it was? If it wasn't this movie with those actors, it would have been like a full-fledged, like, flat-out thumb down. I would have been like, instead of it being, you know, 4.5 Chris heads, this is 3.5 because that part right there was so bad.
Yeah.
It probably would have been worse because, like, everyone knows, even at this point, like, we knew that Will Smith was a talented actor because we'd grown up watching Fresh Prince. And in that show, you got to see the range.
Yes.
Like, I still remember the episode where Will's dad shows up. You ever watch that?
It's been years.
Jesus Christ. It's etched. I think it's partly etched because, of course, like, I went through periods when my dad wasn't in my life, right?
Yeah, no, that
like,
makes sense.
It's such a powerful episode that, like, he ends up breaking down in the episode because of everything. And it's just, like, so moving and powerful. But it's the whole thing. Like, it's jokey, Will Smith from Philadelphia, making fun of Phil for being fat.
Yeah.
You know, then his dad shows up, and then it's just like, yeah, my dad.
I remember.
And then it's like, you know, actually, I don't even want to talk about it because I'm going to start getting all choked up.
I remember a really emotional episode, though, where, like, he was saying something like something about his father, and then Phil was saying, I'm your father. There was an episode like where he thought Phil, you know what, you're more of a father figure than my own.
Well, that's the episode.
Is it that episode? And
there
was a lot of tears.
Yeah, well, because he just goes through this whole thing where he just did all these things without him.
Yeah.
And then he's going to spend the rest of his life without him, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, so like I knew that he could act, but like Martin Lawrence was the one where. Like,
yeah, he can do comedy, but what's his range like?
Exactly. Like, he could be funny. He could be that type of funny, too, which is essentially what he was doing in Martin. Just that little shit with a big mouth type of thing. That shtick. But for him to have that kind of range was really surprising. And it was one of those where, like, cause I forgot, because aside from those movies, he's only done, like Big Mama's House and those type of movies.
He had a little streak there of like
Blue Streak.
You
did that on purpose. You definitely did that on purpose. Blue Streak was awesome.
But he had one more like action comedy after that too. Before Big Mama's House.
Well, I just remember. I remember Black Knight.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
But that's the one where he goes back in the past.
Yeah. Okay, no, it's not.
And I never watched that one because I was like, that looks and sounds stupid. But Blue Streak was great.
Oh, he did Life with Eddie Murphy, too.
When was the last time you watched that movie?
Where they were in jail. When it was released.
Watch it again.
Yeah? Do I want? You're making me think I shouldn't watch that again.
I'm saying you should watch it again so you can formulate your own opinion on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
He's pretty much semi-retired now, though. Like, he hasn't done anything in years besides some stand-up.
Yeah, I think so.
And in fact, in the third movie, Will Smith got top billing. And Martin Lawrence got top billing in the first two.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, because I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, it's weird that he gave him top billing. And then I was like, oh, it must have been just, like, alphabetical order. But then I was like, that doesn't make any sense because, like, Téa Leoni would have been built over him.
Yeah.
Checky would have been...
Checky would have been built over.
Joe would have had top billing.
Joe would have been the main star.
No. Checky Cairo.
No, Joe. J comes before T.
We're talking last names, you idiot.
I was going first once.
Why would you go first? It's always last names.
Not always. There's a lot of times where it's look at some movie posters. There'll be first names.
All right, whatever.
All right.
Agree to disagree.
Joe Pantoliano in Bad Boys.
Joe Pantoliano. Checky Cario. Bad Boys, also starring Will Smith. They're actually the stars, Will Smith and Martin.
They're on the cover, but they're not listed in the credits.
One thing that I will say, actually, a number of things I will say.
All right.
So, knowing that this is Michael Bay's first movie,
yes,
is incredible.
It's incredible. You know what's incredible too is that he was able to hold himself back then. He was able to tell a story without fucking just whoring it up.
It's not so much whoring it up, it's that he didn't have any of his trademark Michael Bay bullshit at that point.
And once he had the trademark Michael Bay bullshit, which is plenty of in the sequel.
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
The fucking sequel is like 40 minutes too long because of all the Michael Bay bullshit you gotta watch.
Save it.
I'm just going here.
Save it.
All right.
But here's a couple of things. So first and foremost, like I was saying right at the beginning, I was impressed with the budget.
Yeah.
because I thought that they had a really high budget on this movie. When I looked into it, because there was all two things I wanted to see. Because I was like, I wonder if this is his first movie, because it's got to be in and around his first movie. So then, actually, I also wanted to see if he was a hidden cameo in this movie, which he's not.
No,
which is disappointing.
No.
In retrospect, I'm like,
he wasn't doing cameos yet.
He should have. But anyway, so they only gave this movie $19 million, but they fucking earned that $19 million.
Oh yeah.
Like, for what they did with $19 million in 1995 is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely impressive.
Yep.
It would be the equivalent of like John Wick or Deadpool, where this is like John Wick and Deadpool. I think only had like what, $50 million apiece. Yeah, Deadpool was $50 million.
Yeah.
And I want to say that John Wick was
around 50.
Yeah.
I mean, Keanu isn't a 25 million guy, but he costs money. Back then, you imagine how cheap they must have got Will Smith and Martin Lawrence for back then. If it's only 19 mil.
Oh, there's no way. Like even
it'd be over 19 just to get Will Smith today. So
yeah. And that's like if he's being charitable.
Yeah.
If he's just like, you know what, I really believe in this project so much, so I'm willing to take a small pay cut. Don't.
As long as my son is in it. Meet Jaden.
Well, he wasn't in Suicide Squad.
He wasn't in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Because he did After Earth that bombed hard, and I guess he figured
You know why that bombed hard? Because it wasn't a good movie. Yeah. And it wasn't just because of Jaden.
He must have figured it out, though.
It wasn't just because of Jaden.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this, like, for the plot, the premise of the movie, it works for Will, because Will was during that period where he thought acting was him just looking like he was in pain all the time. I don't understand.
But I guess it came off of I Am Legend. That's a good movie.
I still am not a huge fan.
A dog died in it. That's right. You wouldn't like it.
That's not the only reason. That's not the only reason. That's a really shitty CGI in that movie.
Ew.
Really painfully shitty CGI, and this is Will fucking Smith here. Mm-hmm. They could have upped the budget a bit.
Or, I don't know, just made humans look like monsters.
I mean, they were essentially human. Plus, the ending was stupid. Should have ended with them, like...
doing it?
No, not even that. But, like, leaning into the fact that, like, he's the bad guy more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, they could have really paid off on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's partly because it was Will Smith that they didn't want to do that ending. I'm not saying that he didn't want to do that ending, but I think the studio execs were kind of like, hey, we can't have Will Smith fucking be the bad guy here. Mm-hmm. We just can't, right? But that's also during his, like, 8 Pounds and Pursuit of Happiness. Pursuit of Happiness is great.
Ooh, yes.
Absolutely amazing
That's
movie.
A good movie.
But that's during that period of time where, like I said,
very sad movies.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so $19 million, they earned every fucking penny of that.
Yep.
And it's no surprise that it made so much fucking money. Like, to think, like, at $19 million, and it made 141 worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Third one's hilarious, though, because it's made more than both those movies combined.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It is absolutely crazy.
A 17-year break, and I was like, I don't think it's going to do that great.
I didn't think it was going to do that great
either.
That's
a long break. And I mean, Will Smith hasn't been as hot lately as he used to be, so... Outside of Suicide Squad, which was
and even then, the only that was more morbid curiosity for me, like, because I was actually like, it might be distracting for him to be in this movie. I don't know if it was the right idea for him to be in this movie, right? Especially because Deadshot's design, it's hard to do it without a mask. Like, you almost feel like you have to do it with a mask, right? Although it was pretty fucking good for what it was.
It worked, yeah.
You know. And he did really good. Like, he was...
he did. He really did.
I was impressed with him there.
Like, he had no problem, like, kind of sitting in the back in scenes and letting the other characters take the...
But also, not being Will Smith in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other part, too, is, like, for a while there, it was either, like, you were going to get Will Smith being Will Smith, which is not a problem. Depends on the movie. For the most part, it's good.
Yep.
Or you get that, like, After Earth, like, just pained. Like, it's almost like it's painful for him to even be in the movie. Which I know wasn't the case with After Earth, because they really pushed, it was a vehicle for Jaden big time.
Yeah. And
also, quietly, an admission that he was into Scientology. Heavy rumors came out about him being a Scientologist. Not just because he's, really good friends with Will Smith, apparently.
Yeah.
But also because of that movie. But after that whole sequence of stupidity, then it ramps up.
Oh, it ramps up big time.
When it's literally like, okay, so...
And you get that awesome shot where they stand up off the ground. That continues throughout the whole series.
No, there's that one, and there's also the shot of Miami sign.
The Miami sign, yeah. Except in the third, it was actually them flying out this time.
But either way, even still, so regardless, but like, so once they get back to the station and Captain Howard is just like, so we're fucked because IA is shutting us down. And so he goes, so we're probably getting shut down in about 4 hours. So you guys got 2 hours to clean this fucking shit up right now, all right? And it was like I love it because it's that stereotypical, like, that cop's like, guys, you guys are fucking killing me here. You're fucking killing me. But at, like, a game time, it's just like, okay, just fucking do this. Just fucking do this. If you can't, we're fucked. All right? Don't come back. And that whole airport sequence is awesome. Like, fuck. Like, I had said at the beginning of this Camcast, like you take those guys out. You take out, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. You take them out, and it's still going to be a great movie. Yep. It's still going to be a really great action movie, especially because I forgot how good this movie was for being, literally mid-90s action flick. Almost their heyday of, like, these bonkers action flicks where they're not playing it for laughs now, like Expendable style, where they're kind of winking into the camera.
Kind of, yeah. But this was a straight up Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson.
Yeah.
Also, I love that too. This was Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer on this, and then he passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yet, in Bad Boys 2 and 3, he still puts Don Simpson Productions. And that pumps me up. That's 25 years later, and he's still putting his name in the credits.
Well, even like with Bruckheimer there, I was saying, like I said to Michelle, I was like, that guy was on fire too.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Bruckheimer. I'm like, I don't know. Like, have you seen The Rock? And she's just like, well, Nick Cage and Sean Connery.
Well, that was kind of like the Michael Bay Bruckheimer trilogy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They did The Rock and then they did Armageddon together.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then he followed up with Pearl Harbor.
That was Bruckheimer too, wasn't it?
It was definitely Michael Bay.
It was definitely Michael Bay. I think Bruckheimer might have done that one too.
And then
they had a falling out.
Yeah, no, you're right. Bruckheimer was definitely on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And then it went to the Transformers movies.
He did The Island.
That's right. Yeah, it was The Island, which was all right.
Which was his first movie without Bruckheimer.
That's right. That's where you start to see the Michael Bay flourishes.
Yes.
That's where everything is sun-soaked. Everything's in the desert.
Island was good, though.
Island was all right.
I enjoyed The Island. And then he did...
Island... Okay, here's the thing. Island, with the premise...
Yeah.
The actors should have been better. But it wasn't. Because... I'm going to say this. I'm laying down the gauntlet.
Oh!
Because there's no Bruckheimer. There's no Bruckheimer to sit there and sort of kind of go, okay, all of this is great, but we need some of this character stuff so that we care about all this stuff.
Bad Boys 2 would have been their last movie together, actually. After Bruckheimer.
Yeah, it would have to have been. It would have to have been.
Yeah.
That might have been the reason why they had the falling out.
Yeah.
Because it might have got to the point where, like,
By the way, it was
Bay,
probably like, oh no, more of this.
Yeah.
And Bruckheimer's like, you're like $50 million over budget already, bud.
First of all, there's about an hour here we need to cut.
Yeah.
We don't cut in my movies. What the fuck?
This thing is 4 hours long right now. We are cutting shit.
Yeah. The actors are sleeping right now because they're so fucking tired. How many times do you have to do a spin around shot from the ground up and then around and then back to the ground again? Oh yeah, every movie.
Every movie.
Multiple times. But you didn't see any of that, actually. You did the one shot of them getting up. That part was awesome. The chase sequences were really cool.
Yep.
The car sequences were really cool. Shootout scenes were awesome. But that end sequence with the plane is just fucking crazy cool. Plus, I also, again, it's like that's where like they go to the two Mexican cops and they're just like, hey, look, we need your help. And they're just like, yep, done. Mm-hmm. What do we need to do? Yeah. We might die? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Even like the sequences where like they, I actually know I'm sorry. One of my favorite parts is when the dude goes to Marcus's house and the two cops show up. Like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen here? Going after a cop's wife, cop's family. What the fuck's wrong with you? I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Like they're scolding him. Like, are you fucking for real? And he's like, it's like my first hit. I don't know anything. He's like, what the fuck do you? I was like, that's so funny. But of course, I got to thinking. I was like, yeah, I guess every hit is someone's first.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah. So like overall, it's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
It's actually like some movies when they go like, it's the movie that launched his career. You're like, yeah, but like, I mean, it's not that great. Like you see why it launched his career, but whereas this movie, I'm like, yeah, of course it launched his career.
Yeah,
of course it launched Martin Lawrence's career.
All three of them.
Of course it did, because it was great.
Yeah.
Everything is great about it. Even the part where I was like, man, this is actually kind of stupid, and it took me out of the movie, still didn't damage the score for me.
No.
This is still 4.5 out of 5 Chris heads, because it's not perfect, but like, actually, I'm gonna have to say 5. I'm gonna have to say 5 because I still get that feeling where I'm like, yeah, like
I really am taken back to when we were kids when I watched this movie. Like,
yeah,
like
I still get that feeling.
I feel like I'm still 13 when I watch it.
Exactly,
it's so fun,
and like I still get that feeling like when you're done watching the movie, like you want to be like these guys, like you want to be cool like these guys.
And the shitty mother from The Crow is in there.
Yeah, I know. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm trying to remember that part because I loved how they're really flirty in the beginning and he asks her to do this thing and she's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And as soon as he walks away, you actually see her go.
Yeah.
There's a quick shot of her doing that and I was like, I am so glad they showed that. Like I was amazed that they showed that. But yeah, I'm on for The Crow. But even then, in this one too, it was the same thing where it was just a victim of circumstance. She's just like, I don't know what to tell. Like, he got in, like, I'm fucked, And then it's just like, okay, well, we'll try and fix this, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, of course, she's not in the rest of the franchise, so she's in jail.
Yeah, didn't turn out well.
Definitely in jail. Or maybe she moved. Maybe it's just like, just leave.
Maybe.
Just leave town. We won't have to arrest you. But yeah, so like I agree. Like I get that. Like fuck yeah vibe. Like,
I love the music in it.
Movie's awesome.
Mark Mancina's music in this is so good. He's the guy that Speed.
I can read.
Barry. Well, I don't know if you read it, but Barry. That's my note, so I remember.
They might not.
Hey, he did Speed.
They might not.
Speed has.
He did the movie Speed. I don't know if he actually did methamphetamines.
He might have. I mean, it's Hollywood.
He might have actually.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Speed's one of my favorite scores of all time. So when the music in this started playing, and I was like, oh man, I forgot how great this theme song was.
What year did that movie come out too?
94, the year before this one.
That's another one of my favorite action movies.
Oh, me too.
Like this one, I can watch at any point in time. Speed, I can watch at any point in time.
Yeah.
Bad Boys 2, not so much.
There it is, a sign of things to come.
Yeah. It's still good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. And it's easy to see why there is no more movies for Bad Boys for 17 years after it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Bad Boys 2 is not going to be good. I'm going to try and temper myself. I think you should too. I think you should try and temper yourself.
I will.
You should try at least.
I'll try.
Yeah. So
just raging immediately.
You got pretty heated
I got pretty
half an hour ago.
I don't know what happened to the Michael Bay I love, though. Like, 90s Michael Bay I love. Because Armageddon is one of my favorite movies. Whether people think it's sucky or not. It's one of my favorites.
Is one of the best movies.
Yes. And The Rock is fucking incredible.
The Rock was so good.
Yeah.
The Rock was so good.
So, I don't know what happened to Michael Bay.
Yeah, I think what it is, and this is just me, like, shooting from the hip, as they say. I think it literally was his first couple movies did so well. Because, like, that was a blockbuster smash. Like, it made $141 million on a budget of 19.
Yeah.
Okay? So even if we look at, like, marketing costs and things like that, let's say it actually cost them...
Probably double.
Yeah, let's say it $40 million.
$40 million.
Let's make $40 million, okay, to make the movie. Okay, it made $101 million more than the budget. Okay,
yeah. And inflated, like that's a ton of money today.
That's a ridiculous amount.
So
it's like that's a huge success, right? And then you follow that up with the next one was The Rock.
They did The Rock together.
So The Rock, also a smash success.
Yep.
Like a huge box office smash success. Then it's Armageddon.
Armageddon was gigantic.
Absolute smash success. Huge.
Pearl Harbor made a lot of money, but it had the biggest budget of the bunch. So I think it was probably around even.
Well, it had the biggest success, which...
You got critically panned, though, so...
Well, it's a fucking terrible movie. Visually, it's amazing.
Visually, it's
fucking amazing. But this was the movie that people sat there and said, Josh Hartnett is a fucking star. He's a leading man. No, he's not.
No.
He's an alright actor.
Affleck was good in it. I didn't mind watching Kate Beckinsale for 3 hours.
But how could you not have an issue with that? Or how could you have an issue with that? I guess that's the reason. Because she's ageless. She might actually be a vampire.
Yes. Underworld's secretly a biography.
Like, I think I see pictures of her now, and she's just starting to age. But if you ask me her age, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I would look at her and say maybe 42, 41. And she's got to be higher than that.
I think she might actually be in her 50s.
She could be.
Which is crazy!
Yeah.
Okay? Like, well, look at Keanu Reeves. Oh, they're like, he doesn't age. He ages. He looks older. He doesn't look his age necessarily.
No.
But neither does Tom Cruise.
Nope.
Tom Cruise doesn't look like he's 53.
Because they're guys that, well, for one, they're probably happy and don't lead a stressful life. Imagine how many years that can take off you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, okay. But either way, regardless, so I think with the success of those previous movies, because, like, Pearl Harbor is where you start to see a heavy influence of Bay flourishers. This is where you start to see, like, a lot of, like, the Bayisms, where you're just like...
And then Bad Boys 2, it blasts off.
Do you need a lens flare in every scene? Yeah.
You
I'm sorry.
You do.
Do you need this constant swirl? Oh, yeah. Like I said, visually, it's a beautiful-looking movie. The fucking story is so garbage, though. It's such a garbage movie. The characters are terrible. Every single one of the characters are terrible. And I don't care how well acted they are. It's a terrible character.
Yeah.
You could act so great and still not be able to elevate the movie, which none of them did. I like Kate Beckinsale. I think she's a great actress. I think she's actually a better actress than she gets due. Ben Affleck, I've never had an issue with his acting. I know, like people shit on his acting, but I've never thought he was a bad actor.
I don't think he's a bad actor
But then again, I didn't watch Geely all the way through. But
I had no interest in watching it, but it's fucking.
But that's one of those ones.
People, man.
That's one of those ones where it's like it's just a shitty movie.
All right,
this time you cut it, okay?
All right,
you cut it.
Go for it.
Yeah, you do it.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us today. You can check us out on social media.
You stumble a bit, you
stumbled.
son of a bitch.
I stumbled. You know
Sorry,
what it was?
okay.
You know what it was? You went like this, and I was watching your reaction on there, and it made me laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. That's our podcast. You can listen to those over there. They're really cool. GeekPantsMedia.com. We're also there. And then right here, YouTube. Chris and Ken.
I don't like how you actually made a point of looking at me like, see, I could do it.
Yeah, in your face.
Yeah, in your face while you're trying to look all smug.
Suck it.
Suck it.